The program normally seen at this time will not air, so that we may bring you the following special program from Toledo 11, the news channel. Toledo to Kyiv, a mission of hope, is brought to you by the knowledge, the experience, the Toledo Hospital, by Paramount Healthcare, and by Children's Medical Center of Northwest Ohio. Toledo to Kyiv, a mission of hope.
Як ви ся маєте, де ви ся провертаєте, чи до Січі Матері прибуваєте, чи до Січі Матері прибуваєте, чоловіки киями поколодаєте.
Kyiv, Ukraine. Life is slowly ebbing away from these children as they wait for a miracle, a mission of hope from the United States. This is the Ukraine in what used to be the former Soviet Union. Right now, the cold winds of autumn are sweeping over a country that is desperately trying to change itself. But they're not as cold as a generation ago, when the fear of the West and the Cold War ruled this land. Now, instead of a Cold War, there is sort of a warm peace. It's warmed even more by a group of Toledo doctors and nurses. I'm Melissa Voetsch, and I invite you to spend the next half hour with us as we follow these doctors and nurses on their life-saving mission, a mission to mend broken hearts. On an October day in Toledo, Ohio, 6 doctors and nurses, together with a medical team from Memphis, prepare for a life-saving mission. A journey taking more than 24 hours, traveling 5,000 miles to Kyiv, in what is now the former Soviet Union.
But Kyiv seemed like a stable place with a tremendous body of children which could be helped by ourselves and our techniques.
I can really identify what these parents must be feeling for their child. They're very sick babies, and that in itself is really, kind of heartbreaking.
And basically what we're trying to do is go and give some kids a chance at life. Since we can't bring all of them here, we're bringing a team of people there.
Waiting for that second chance are 24 children. The ages vary, and so do their hometowns. But the Ukrainian youngsters all share a common bond. They need surgery from the American doctors to cure their heart defects, surgery their own country and doctors cannot provide. And without it, death is a near certainty. The doctors have literally brought over a hospital, everything they're going to need to perform these surgeries. The cost? $2 million in medical supplies, all donated by American medical companies and hospitals.
ICU is what we need. Where is that?
We have literally brought everything else we brought our gowns, our gloves, our instruments, our valves.
They have less than 1 day to convert these Ukrainian hospital rooms into a mini American hospital. And they have 2 weeks to save the tiny lives. Surgery risky even under the best of conditions. Already, the odds and the medical conditions here seem overwhelming.
And it's amazing that they can do the number of cases and the sophistication of them, considering what they have. Obviously, they left the extremely difficult and hard procedures to us and our teams from Toledo and Memphis.
And now it begins for the children who are running out of time.
Please tell her I'm not going to hurt her. Okay, I just want to listen.
This is Helena Mikulova. She's 6 years old with big brown eyes and purple ribbons in her hair. She also has a hole in her heart and another defect as well.
Tell her to take a deep breath.
Good.
The child has a severe malformation of the valve between the right ventricle and the right atrium, the filling in the pumping chambers of the right heart. The valve leaks significantly and also has some degree of a blockage to the egress of blood into the right ventricle.
Helena's mother knows her daughter's chances for a normal life rests in the hands of Dr. Michael Morant.
Tell her that the valve may still leak some after the surgery, but it will be much better.
She's a great hope for American doctors because that's a great opportunity for her child to be operated by the Americans.
Theoretically, she has a very good chance of living the rest of her life normally with regard to that valve in her heart.
The left ventricle, by comparison, is small.
Another exam of another sick little girl. She's Valeria Bespalova, and her overworked heart is turning her fingertips and even her lips blue.
The operation will take about 4 hours. She should do well. However, there clearly is some risk to the surgery, but we're going to take the best care of her we can.
It's a sentiment echoed by every member of this American team to do the best they can for the children. The parents have already been through their own kind of hell just to get this far. Adding to the parents' agony is the waiting list. Every year, reportedly 7,000 children are born in the Ukraine with congenital heart problems. But the medical technology here is only capable of providing surgery for about 1,000. And in a country where teachers make $3 to $4 a month, and engineers with college degrees a few dollars more, it sometimes costs parents even more money in return for higher placement.
Families from time to time feel that it's necessary to have their children moved up on the list because of the complexity of the nature of their disease or strictly because the families are worried about their children. And there are certain physicians that from time to time will allow the family to move their child up on the list if they pay the physician additional money on top of what he normally is paid for an operation.
The American doctors and nurses here donated their time and talents and were not paid for these surgeries.
Ukrainian physicians here have the children that they've asked us to operate on are children that normally would not receive surgery and would most likely die or be severely restricted for the rest of their lives, and their lives would clearly be shortened. That's fine. That's very good.
What matters now is saving lives in this crowded, noisy operating room, complete with translator.
As a heart surgeon, you have to be very focused and you have to have complete control over your environment. This adds a little more confusion and chaos, and over time in training you learn to kind of slowly screen out and filter out the stuff that's not of value and yet perceive, understand, and react to stuff that is critical.
Meanwhile, the parents wait, silently hoping and praying for a miracle. Even during the agonizing wait, the Ukrainian medical system differs from ours.
They don't have a waiting room for parents. They stand at the stairs and wait all day and day after day to see how their child's doing. The parents aren't allowed in the peds ICU.
6 hours later, it's over.
Сердце работает.
Okay.
Хорошо.
Everything I think will be fine. Tell them that I will be looking in on her every day, helping care for her, even tonight if she needs it. Heart rhythm was normal. She's on a little bit of medicine to support her heart and blood pressure, and I'm very pleased with the repair we were able to accomplish. Heart rhythm was normal. She's on a little bit of medicine to support her heart and blood pressure.
And a few days later, it was evident the doctors did accomplish this small miracle.
So she's going to grow up to be a beautiful woman.
И он говорит, когда ты вырастешь, ты будешь очень красивой девушкой.
With a good heart.
И с хорошим здоровым сердцем.
And now we continue with Toledo to Kyiv, a mission of hope.
On this cold October day, Larissa Bespalova comes to church to pray for her child. Valeria is facing critical surgery that could, in the long run, save her life. Back in the Institute for Cardiovascular Surgery, the wide-eyed 8-year-old girl has no fear. She has complete trust in her doctors from Toledo.
Они хорошо делают всем детям операции.
Они хорошие?
Да.
She thinks that they look very, very nice guys, very kind guys, and she hears that they are doing a very good job.
The world Valeria wants to run through has changed dramatically. The ancient city of Kyiv is home to 2 million people. From the 24-karat gold domes on centuries-old churches to the music on the city street. Kyiv breathes life as the heart and soul of the Ukraine.
Молодці! Козаки запорожці, як ви ся маєте? Де ви ся провертаєте? Чи до Січі Матері прибуваєте? Чи до Січі Матері прибуваєте? Чоловіки порогів киями покладають.
I am a tourist, a big tourist.
We're American. American? Yeah, can't you tell?
And on this day, the American medical team becomes American tourists, getting closer to the country whose children they're trying to save. The country itself is in nearly the same rundown condition, a country in need of life support. Life in Kyiv now is like living in the United States back in the 1950s. It's hard, to say the least. But people here say they're willing to make sacrifices in order to make for a better future for their children. When the Soviet Union broke up into individual nations, the economic system broke up as well, and soaring inflation has made salaries ridiculously low. This cab driver, Ivan, explained how he and his wife are barely surviving.
There is his wife, he said, working like a teacher in a technical school, and she earned $3 to $4 a month, and that's impossible.
But the fall of the communist-dominated government gave Ivan and other Ukrainians freedom that was once only a dream. Larissa Bespalova is a computer programmer, and her husband is an engineer. Together, they live with their daughter in this tiny 3-room apartment, an apartment which, like other Ukrainians, they own instead of rent. Pictures of Valeria are everywhere. She is their only child, and they treasure this rare jewel with a shy, sweet smile.
Это единственный ребенок.
It's only one child.
Он нам очень тяжело дался.
It's very hard. They have very hard time to get this child.
Он родился через 2 недели после страшной катастрофы Чернобыльской.
This child was born after 2 weeks after the Chernobyl catastrophe.
Did they think that Chernobyl had anything to do with their baby's sickness?
Вы думаете, что Чернобыль имеет какое-то отношение на...
Мы можем только гадать.
They are just guessing.
Chernobyl, the world's worst nuclear disaster. And practically in Kyiv's backyard, about as close as Bowling Green to Toledo. No one in the Western world will probably ever know how many people actually died, nor are the Ukrainian authorities sure about how the disaster 8 years ago is still causing health problems today.
Logically, we have to expect, but we do not have statistics yet. What people say that thyroid cancer definitely is rise, and this rise is connected with Chernobyl. Because this, people also noticed rise, and this rise is also connected with Chernobyl consequences.
Dr. Atamanyuk is a heart surgeon here at the Kyiv Institute of Cardiovascular Surgery. He agrees that right now his country's healthcare system needs immediate first aid from the West.
I think that medicine will be better. And of course, especially when people like you, like your team, come and show a lot of new things from technological point of view, how to do.
But to the American doctors, the Ukrainians have a lot of catching up to do, with equipment and techniques decades behind. Ukrainian medicine is also like stepping back in time. You see, when the country declared its independence, it lost almost all financial support for its medical program. So they literally have to do with what they have. That often means piecing together their own equipment, like this.
This is the water seal chamber, another tube, and then this tube is your vent to the air, but it's made from a broken tube here, and it's sharp glass that's not sheared off, or it's not sterile. Yeah, it's not sterile, and I mean, it's dangerous to have broken glass just there that you can cut yourself on, but it works. I mean, it drains, and it's water seal, and that's the thing that amazes me, is how primitive their setups are, but they work.
And most of the equipment brought over by the Americans will be used again.
Throw away after each use, and we're going to say that all these cannulas in the United States, we throw them away. In fact, we're not allowed to re-sterilize anything. It's against some federal government regulation. And here, these cannulas, they want me to clean them, and then they're going to re-sterilize them.
The problem is, in many respects, you're flying by the seat of your pants here. There's no labs. After one time in the morning, we can get about a quarter or a third of what we can get or need at home. You get one x-ray.
Morning only.
On Saturdays and Sundays, there's no lab at all. So it's a completely different experience from what we're used to at home.
But even the greatest surgical skill and latest technology wasn't enough for one tiny baby, whose overworked heart finally gave out, and even the best doctors couldn't save the child.
I still feel terrible about it. I still feel very bad. I sat there last night when the child was critically ill and thought of everything I could do to make her better, including take her back to the operating room and reoperate on her. But I don't think that would have really solved anything.
And so the mission goes on, with more lives to save, more broken hearts to mend, including the heart of little Valeria, who's about to go into surgery.
She thinks that for children, for Ukrainian children who is here in the hospital, this team was a miracle.
And again, the waiting begins for one family, while Helena, now several days out of surgery, is recovering quickly.
Oh, you want something from this, huh? Yeah, well, I don't know. It's kind of a universal thing, no matter where you go in the world, that the first thing you want is not some nurse, not some doctor, even if they speak your own language, but you want your mother.
The delicate process also turns the operating room into a working classroom between the American and Ukrainian doctors.
That's fine. That's very good. And on this one, what I'll show you is the way we do it in adults, so it'd be helpful for you.
And finally, the surgery and the waiting is over.
She's fine. She's fine. We were able to do a very, very nice repair.
Очень хорошо починились.
Я хочу тоже вас поцеловать, бабушка. Это бабушка. Бабушка. Родненькие у нас, крутые ваши ручки.
She's, yeah, yes.
That's okay.
Excellent, absolutely excellent. We were able to achieve a very good repair, and she came off the heart-lung machine doing very well with no problems and no medicine to support her.
The next day, Valeria's parents are still glowing with the good news as they spoke with us, saying their daughter was reborn with this second chance at life. So when your daughter finally comes home, what are you going to do for her?
Что вы будете делать со своей девочкой, когда она придет домой?
День рождения устроим ей.
They will make for her birthday party.
For a newborn?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Grab. I'm not doing well. Get that hand out of there.
Wait.
Take care. Right there. Twist.
И крути.
Twist it. Push hard. Hard. Push. Push.
Дави.
Okay.
И крути.
Let me see. Stop. Push. Okay. Radical. Awesome.
Daily, the doctors slam into a wall called the language barrier, and everyone is relying on the translations of Toledo resident Sonia Kirshner to pull them through. Sonia, who was born in the Ukraine, emigrated to the United States with her family several years ago. This journey here is a mixture of joy for newfound freedoms and of sorrow for the dire conditions of the Ukrainian medical system.
It's made me very, very sad. I know that they have very knowledgeable surgeons. I know that they have very knowledgeable nurses, and they cannot use their knowledge in this environment what they have right here.
And neither the American or Ukrainian doctors could battle a sudden case of strep throat that unexpectedly struck one little boy named Arturum. He was on the list for life-saving heart surgery, but the sudden infection made that impossible, and no translation could soften the blow of bitter truth for his mother.
She heard if she would not make it, they would not make it this time. She heard that they will come again in a year, and she will try to keep him alive as much as they can to come next year and to be operated by our doctors.
I think the good side of that, though, is that the skills we've brought, the material that we've brought, will stay with the Ukrainian physicians and nursing staff, and that perhaps they will feel that this child can be operated upon by themselves successfully.
And the surgery goes on as time is running out for the children and the American stay here in Kyiv.
They are happy that you are their doctor.
In spite of their outward reserve, the Ukrainians are warm, passionate people who try as they can to show their gratitude.
And the people are so genuine, especially the family, the parents. They came up after one daughter. We told her she was, fine after surgery, and he gave me one of those Russian kisses. He scared me at first. He took my head and kissed this side and this side. But I mean, I love it.
Beautiful. I say beautiful.
And in spite of the numerous frustrations and setbacks, there are the successful moments, quiet victories when children who were once so solemn and so still, when these children start acting like, well, children.
It's wonderful being able to see the kids get up and looking so good. It's very satisfying to be able to come here and offer our services and to help these people.
Valeria captured our hearts, and being the hockey fan she is, she also captured a Toledo Storm shirt from her new best friend, photojournalist Tim Wening.
Like normal, just as if...
It's when you see the glow of life coming from a child who only a week before was facing death that you begin to believe in miracles.
I don't feel like a hero, but it does make me feel good that we've been able to help and do a good job.
That's the positiveness of the experience. When you see the moms and they wave to you afterwards, or the kids look at you and smile, that's the positiveness of the experience, and that makes it worth, all the downsides.
And when these doctors and nurses return home, they're leaving behind more than mended hearts. They're leaving mended lives that are now full of hope and promise.
If it doesn't grab your heart, and I don't mean the surgical way, but if it doesn't grab your heart to see a kid who looked like a blueberry muffin, blue all over, one day and 3 days later to be walking around, be pink as a rose, I mean, that's the whole thing. That's where it's at.
So as our visit to Kyiv comes to an end, let's take a look at this mission. For many of us, the thought of traveling halfway across the world to save lives would be an impossible dream. But for these Toledo doctors and nurses, persistence made their dream a reality. And because of them, perhaps some Ukrainian children will have a chance to pursue their dreams. I'm Melissa Voetsch. Thanks for joining us. Good night.
Toledo to Kyiv, a mission of hope, has been brought to you by the knowledge, the experience, the Toledo Hospital, by Paramount Healthcare, and by Children's Medical Center of Northwest Ohio.